Hey Leo, this is your astrological report for the month of June 2025, and the month starts out with Mars in your sign. So, Mars in your sign gives you a lot of energy because it's in Leo Mars. It's a fire trine. It's making a beautiful fire trine in your chart. So, I'm going to show that in a minute, which is giving you very positive action, sort of in alignment, expansive. So, whatever action you're finding yourself doing right now, there's a good chance it's very in alignment and causing you a very sort of bold new start in your life, which is um, Leo. Leo Mars is courageous, taking bold new big courageous steps for Leo. So you're probably already doing that in your life in some way. So let's go ahead and share the chart and look at what else is happening for Leo for the months of June 2025. So I've got Leo on the ascendant. There's Mars in your first house. If you have a Leo sun, then it's hitting your sun at some point, which is again a very energizing time, and it can be a time of ego clashes and, shall we say, conflict. But if you're very conscious, you can use that energy of Mars on your sun to propel yourself forward and take a higher purpose calling and put a lot of action behind something that you're inspired to do. Because this Mars, you see, here we go. There's this Mars is trining the firehouse, and Mars right now, in fact, is trining Venus in your ninth house. So that's a great energy of your dharma and your an inspired new destiny, because that ninth house is your dharma, which which means it's your destiny, it's the truth of who you are. So if it's trining that, there's a lot of inspired new beginnings, new moving, perhaps traveling. And again, this is very fired up. There's a lot of energy. You've got a lot of energy to do this, to put into some big change in your life right now. So that's just looking at Mars. Then Mars is going to move into your second house on the 17th. And that's going to put a lot of that energy into focusing into making money and increasing your wealth or possessions, or also can challenge your low self-esteem issues. Pride issues can come in, or self-critical issues can come in. But it is whatever shows up with Mars in your second house is to show you where you have work to do to raise your self-esteem so that you manifest more income, you have more pride, believe in yourself. But Mars in Virgo is detailed oriented and a busy energy. So that happens after the mid of June. So prepare for a big shift in the energies when Mars leaves your first house, and then you buckle down and you focus on some detailed hard work focus around around income. Now you're having the eclipses here for the rest of the year in your eighth and in your second houses. So there's definitely shifts occurring in how you earn your money and how you feed yourself. So there's like, new jobs, and it's probably could be multiple jobs changing left and right, or things like that, because the eclipses are very ending situations and starting new situations in your money houses, your eighth and in your second, is going to shake things up so that you land in the right spot. And if sometimes that's not quite clear at the first eclipse, and it becomes more clear towards the second or third eclipse. And the eclipses in these houses will end for you in about a year from now, a little less than a year. So big changes in your income and or how you make your money, and some sort of big new a lot of energy going into some sort of dharmic new purpose, plan, start, a big new start, because you've got Jupiter, you've got Saturn there. So now we're talking about Saturn and Aries in your ninth house, where you're really stepping into your true destiny and your true purpose. And you're really restructuring your life for that. And it may not look like it's happening very quickly. You're going to have Jupiter in where's your Cancer house? Your 12th house. Ooh, that there's travel ahead for you guys for sure, because of the ninth house too, having Saturn there. But your ruling planet is the sun, and the sun in this month is Gemini, and then going to go into Cancer. So with the sun in Gemini, again, very busy. It's in your 11th house, and and it's we've got Jupiter there and Mercury going to meet there. So sorry, I kind of jumped around. I want to go back to Saturn. I'll get back to that in a minute. But with Saturn in your ninth house, you're restructuring a career and restructuring your Dharma and stepping into your true calling and your true purpose and the truth of who you are, the truth of what you're here to do. And you're starting to initiate that new structure with that Saturn there at 0 degrees in Aries. So again, you're fired up, you're motivated, you're driven, you're inspired. Saturn making a square to Jupiter in your 11th house, and then it's going to move into your 12th house, which is going to slow things down and cause you to take more cautious approaches to some of these changes and to not let the fire overtake. Then the sun on the so yeah, so Jupiter, that's going to happen on the ninth. Jupiter here. And before that happens, actually, we're going to have Jupiter and Mercury conjoining here on let's see what that does for so we're going to have Jupiter and Mercury conjoining June 7th and June 8th. And that's going to be the big hurrah of Jupiter leaving your 11th house, where you would have met a lot of new people, developed and expanded your tribe group, perhaps a social media account, networking, what else? Publicity, new clients, new connections. And boy, we have a lot of planets there. We've got Mercury, Jupiter, Sun. And boy, when Uranus moves into your 11th house in July, we're gonna have a lot to talk about there, because then things really kind of explode in your you do start to meet a lot of new people, and there's a good chance that it is through the 11th house that you will have a financial liberating um explosion. It could be very, very auspicious. The 11th house is dreams coming true. So right now you've got Jupiter there. You've been learning a lot either about technologies for the year, because Jupiter's been in Gemini for the entire year, teaching you. But again, meeting people, connecting with people, but you would have been learning a lot about social networking, media, what humanity needs. It's a very humanistic house. So you would have been focused on your craft or your skill or your gift to serve humanity, to be higher consciousness in some way, shape, or form. And then what that really lines up with the Saturn in your ninth house, we're at that 0 degrees where we're coming up with new ideas, sextiling. Well, it's going to be squaring Jupiter in a minute here when Jupiter moves into your 12th house, but that square is going to be Jupiter in your 12th house is very visionary. You're going to have a lot of downloads, a lot of ideas about new securities, new home, new ideas for construction even, or developing houses. But again, this could also be very much a travel situation where you're traveling, or you're spending a lot of time alone and learning more things and expanding your knowledge. But basically, when Jupiter be right before it goes into your 12th house, um, it's making this conjoining with Mercury squaring Saturn, where you change your mind in a big way and make a big decision to really step into this new destiny here. Something about what you're doing is slightly off this track. So you're going to get sent back onto this track to develop some sort of foundation here for a very long-term goal that your destiny has planned for you. That if you're not in alignment with, it will block, and you'll find clarity. This Neptune there is really guiding us spiritually to connect with some sort of higher ideal life, a dream life. And this is very spiritual to have Neptune transiting the ninth house. There's going to be a lot of spiritual awakenings and experiencing spiritual breakthroughs and complete sort of awakening to a higher dimension and the powers of the higher dimension and how they really manifest, how it's the higher dimensions that create our reality. The reality is spiritually created. So this is a big kind of re-empowering the knowledge, becoming more empowered by the knowledge of this for Leo, because you're going to have Saturn there. So you're going to learn a lot about higher consciousness and spirituality. So let's get into, okay, so we've got the full moon. So we're going to have Jupiter on the full moon happens on the 11th, but Jupiter moves in on the 9th. Mercury is going to move into the sign of Cancer here before that. squaring Saturn. Again, a mind shift. Now, there could be emotional thing with Mercury and Cancer. There could be an upset with this. So there could be a disappointment or a blocking of some idea not working out, but something else will. It's just aligning you to the right path. But Jupiter and Saturn coming in on the square is going to be a very serious, something has to be taken very seriously and a decision cannot be rushed. But this will only last till the middle of June, and then things really open up in July, when I'm going to get to that in July, obviously. But we're really working through this. We're about to begin some major new beginnings, so we got to do it right. And Jupiter in your 12th house is also having you face karmic fears and attachment issues because the North Node is going to be in your 8th house. So there's going to be a square there, as well, actually, no, that's just to Saturn. Um, the North Node, though, as it travels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will trine this. So the more you become less attached to things, the more you flow, the more you let go of attachments, basically, or ideas of how things are supposed to be. If you have Leo sun, you may have an attachment to how things are supposed to be. So that Mars on your Leo sun might be a crash, might be an ego bust up there because things are going to the plans are not our head plans are not necessarily the soul plan, the grand plan. So the grand plan is what's going to be played out here with that North Node in the 8th house, which is to become more financially sovereign but through a spirituality, through releasing through energy, through your energetic release and flow and trusting in abundance. Um, so that's going to be all year. This is going to be happening all year, but you're going to be developing a certain amount of faith in the universe and the unseen forces supporting you. But fears could absolutely get triggered in these transits with these eclipses because they're going to be here. But you're going to discover that you've got the universe has got your back basically. And that God, there is a God. And it's not you. Leos are wonderful, and it's wonderful that they believe in themselves. They have a lot of pride, and some don't. Some can be super, super humble. The Leo that lost his crown is super humble, but there's the Leo that knows you're a king within that doesn't need the crown. That's the Leo you want to be. But it's okay to have the crown, but it doesn't. If the crown being taken away does not make you less of a king or less of Leo. So the Leo's brokenhearted sometimes when they lose their crown, but. And in history, a lot of Leos that have Leo in their chart are royalty in their past lives, and and being a royalty, boy, you get your crown stolen a lot. You know, if you look back on history or any movie about royalty, there's battles for the crown. I love the story of Henry VII, where he goes to England and with 100 men from France and decides to take the English crown and just gets into a war with Richard III in the field and just takes his crown and sticks it on, kills him and takes the crown and sticks it on his own head. And everybody goes, "Hey, King Henry VII." He became the new king. So, so basically, Leo is courageous. You've got Mars in your sign, empowering you to be extra courageous and extra Leo, basically. Extra fire behind that Leo fire. So it is a good time for Leo. Let's just quickly talk about the moons. We've got beautiful full moon in the sign of Sagittarius coming up, which I really like it. That's in your 5th house. How fantastic. It is a dharmic full moon. It is happening on the 11th here. So that's going to be a 20-degree 38 of Sagittarius. So that's going to be in your 4th house. So moving. Oh, wait, sorry. I got to go back. That's not in your 4th house. That's not true. It is in your 5th house, which is awesome. That's right. So you got a trine. You've got the big fire trine. This is absolutely the best. The fire signs are going to have a great full moon. There are some squares because we've got the ruling planet of this full moon is squaring Saturn. So we won't see the sort of fruits of this full moon right away. It's going to take a while, but the initiation's there. We're going to see it within a couple of weeks. The ideas are there, or the talk of it is there. You can start to see what's happening. You can see your destiny is really changing. Things are going in a completely different way than you thought because it's squaring the nodes. The nodes are being squared here. It's at 20 degrees. This full moon is happening at 20 degrees, so I'm a little off here, but 20 degrees and the nodes are at 22 degrees. It's immutable, beautiful, a mutable full moon, which means we discover something, new information comes in, or something is revealed, or a truth, because Sagittarius is all about the truth. A truth is revealed that shifts your destiny. And it is very joyous, a lot of fun, happy joy. You've been too serious maybe, but this is a fun, open, creative, maybe some sort of a creative project is inspired and gets financial assistance behind it with that Jupiter in the 12th. Because Jupiter is in a very Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So your Sagittarius house is going to get a nice exalted boost. So some sort of perhaps, and the fifth house is a Lakshmi house, luxury money. It's a good house for abundance. So I really like this full moon for Leo. Really great, fun, inspired, fun, joy, good times. Good times full moon for you. And then the new moon, the sun is going to move into your 12th house, which does bring in some introspective, reflective downtime and more quiet time. And that's just for a couple of weeks. And then the sun will move into your first house, and then you'll feel much more social and out in the world again. But with the new moon in your 12th house, again, big potential for cross country international travel, or going out into the country, or a new job in some sort of a like a retreat house, or a some sort of a institution. You like, if you were a doctor, you were a nurse, you'd get a job at a new hospital. That's the 12th house too, but also just travel or getting out into the country, taking time alone to nurture some new idea, because the 12th house often, especially with Jupiter there, you can get visions, downloads, ideas, especially since Jupiter was in your 11th house. A lot of knowledge came in, a lot of information, knowledge about media, communication, technology, new tribes. And now you're taking this information, you're integrating it with when planets go into the 12th house, you're ending a karmic cycle. You're going to have very vivid dreams that guide you and that really help you on your Dharma, because Jupiter really is all about our Dharma. So, oh, we didn't even talk about Venus. Wow. Venus is going into Venus. Well, that's because we jumped in on Mars. Venus is going into your 10th house, right? Oh, wait, when does Venus go into your 10th house? In a couple of days here. Venus is going to go into the 10th house in the 6th. So that's going to be a very, shall we say, there's Venus in the 10th, making a beautiful angle to Jupiter in your 11th. Somebody that you met through social media, through networking, um, or information you learned about networking or promoting yourself, or network socializing. I mean, what do you call it? Public relations is going to bring you some sort of blessed, very, like for instance, if you're looking for a new job, Venus in your 10th house, a very blessed connection, meeting somebody, beautiful communication, something comes in, wow, beautiful new job. Venus in Taurus is a really auspicious, comfortable, calm, practical, easy and comfortable new job that really flows in. It's like you get a job offer that's really easy, really flow through some connection, very auspicious and abundant. So that's a great month. Venus is going to be in your 10th house for the entire month. What a great month for your career, with that fire, passion, getting onto your Dharma and feeling inspired, hope about your life, about these new beginnings, a great deal of inspiration and hope. And then with the Venus in the 10th house, your career is going to be blessed with that. So you'll see more towards the middle to the end of the month what these blessings starting to really take shape. But the beginning of the month, you're really sort of getting over some sort of uh, shall we say, what's the word I want to say? Obstacles, delays, issues, stuff that has to be dealt with, that you got to face and deal with. It's sort of little, it's like you got to climb up a set of stairs to get to this beautiful place here at the mid-month. I hope that makes sense. All right. Thank you for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe, and do feel free to leave a comment. And if you would like a personal reading, check out my website, soullevels.com, and book a reading there. And thank you so much for joining me and hanging out and talking astrology. Have a wonderful month. Namaste.